Hello, scholars. This week in math, we're going to be working on different subtraction strategies when you have a two-digit number. Last week we did addition with two-digit numbers, and this week we're going to focus on subtraction. So keep on watching so you can learn some new strategies to help you solve your work. All right, so let's get started. We're going to come over here and read our problem first. There are 34 art projects in a contest. There are 9 paintings. The rest are drawings. How many art projects are drawings? So let's walk through these questions to see if we can get some help. But before we do that, I want us to think about our number bond like we've been doing with our part, and our whole. The whole in this problem is going to be the 34 because that's the total number. And then the parts, we know one part is going to be 9 because we have 9 paintings and we're trying to figure out the rest that are going to be drawings. So let's start reading these questions to work through what this workbook's wanting us to do to help us picture the subtraction problem. So we're going to start with how many tens and ones are in 34. It's place value review, and we are rock stars at place value. So this is going to be super easy. So we're looking at the number 34, and it has it using over here using our either cubes or the green things that we have. This is exactly what that is, and like our drawings. We have, this is 1 10, 2 10s, 3 10s. So we'll put a 3 right there. Now let's look over here at our ones, because remember, just the little individual cube, or when we draw just a dot, represents ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 ones. Also, I know that you all could just look at the number 34 and know that it was 3 tens and 4 ones, because you know that the ones place was where the 4 is, and the 3 was in the tens place. All right, so let's move on to this question B. Solve 34 minus 9 to find the number of drawings. We know that when we have a number bond, it can come up with 4 different equations to use, and 2 of those are subtraction. And so you're going to do your whole minus one of your parts, which is the whole 34 minus 9 to find the number of drawings that there are. How many ones do we subtract? Well, we're subtracting 9, and that's the only number there, so that's the number of 9. 9, so ones, right there. Now let's go over here to this question. Are there enough ones in 34 to subtract? Let's see, let's count how many ones we have again in our picture. 1, 2, 3, 4. We only have 4 ones in this drawing right here, and that's not enough, because if I try to count up to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can't get all the way up to 9. So we'll put a no right here. And then if you look down here to this drawing, they broke apart one of the tens and made 10 ones with it. So let's see, the question right here now says, how many tens blocks are there? And it left us with 2 tens blocks. And then how many ones blocks are there? Let's count all of these ones. Count along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 ones. We could have also known that by knowing that this 10 was going to be 10 ones. So we could have started with 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We could have counted up just from 10 too. So now, if we have 14 ones, we have enough to take 9 away. So now we're going to take away 9 ones and see how many are left. So let's cross them out as we take them away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I took away my 9 ones. I still have my 2 tens left. And now let's count how many ones I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now I have 5 ones left, which means that there are 25 drawings in the art project contest. So 25 of them are drawing and 9 of them are painting. So if I write my new number bond, I can erase that question mark, let's see, and put in the number 25. And if I had the equation written out that we were doing of 34 minus 9, I now have that equaling 25. There we go. Okay, so on the previous page, we were subtracting using our unit cubes, so our manipulatives and our drawings. And now we're going to find out 2 different ways that we can also do subtraction. So remember, there's lots of ways that we can solve problems. We have to figure out what works best for the problem we're doing or what works best for you. So one way that we're going to solve subtraction problems is adding up. Like it says right here, adding up. So let's go through the steps that it has for us so we can figure out the new strategy of adding up to figure out 34 minus 9. So we're going to start when we add up with the number that we are subtracting. So we have 9, so we're going to start with 9. Now to get to the next 10, because remember we always find friendly numbers, and when it has a 0 at the end in the ones place, it's a friendly number. If we have 9, okay, I only need to add 1 more to get up to 10. And I have a number line to help me. This is kind of 2 strategies in one, adding up and a number line. All right, so now we're at 10, and we're gonna, the final number that we have to get to. So if we were making this from scratch, we would have had just our 9, and then all the way over here, we would have had 34, because those are the 2 numbers that we're working with, and we're figuring out how much is in between them. So we went up to 10 by adding 1, and now we're going to jump all the way to 30 by adding 20. You could have also figured that out by going 10 at a time and stopping at 20. So that would have been plus 10. It look more like a plus sign. There we go. And plus 10. Okay. Now, we're at 30, we're not quite at 34 yet, so we need to add 4 more to get to 34. Now, it wants us to add all the jumps that we did. So just the numbers I wrote here and all that we added up here. So we're gonna have 1 plus 20 plus 4 is what it's asking us to do. So we're gonna start with the ones place. In the ones place, I'm gonna have 1 plus 4, which is 5. And then I only have a 2 in the tens place. So we're going to have 9 plus, gotta get that 2 looking right, 25 equals 34. So 34 minus 9 equals 25. And we know that because they're part of the same fact family since it's the same 3 numbers. All right, so that was one other strategy to helping us subtract. And now we're going to do the other one right here, which is subtract to make a 10. And once again, we're choosing 10 because it's a friendly number, and friendly numbers are easier to add and subtract. So we have 34 has 4 ones, so subtract 4 first. Okay, so we're going to do that right here. 34 minus 4 brings us down to 30. Now, and then it's going to subtract 5. So 30 minus 5 is going to equal 25. Now, you might be asking yourself, why did we subtract 5 right there? You understood why we subtracted the 4, because that was to get us down to our friendly number of 30. And we subtracted the 5 because we were wanting the numbers that we were subtracting to equal up to 9. And we know that 4 plus 5 equals 9. So that's why we subtracted the 5 right there. And so that equals 25. So if we know that 34 minus 4 equals 30, and then 30, do you see how those numbers right there, we're taking that 30 down here, And doing 30 minus 5 to equal 25. So we know that 34 minus 9 equals 25. So this one we started over here at our big number. We started at the whole, and we subtracted the part in pieces to get to our answer for the other part. All right, now down here at the bottom, it says, how can you subtract 46 minus 8? Explain one way. Now we've just learned 3 ways that you can do it. You can do it using our picture of our tens in units blocks. We can do it adding up, starting from the number we're subtracting, 8, and adding up to 46. Or we can do it by subtracting to make a 10, like we just did. So we're going to work through, I'm going to pick one of those ways to work through, and you can use the other 2 if you want, and you can pause it and work through the other 2. But I'm going to draw it. So we're going to draw 46, 1, 2, I'll write my number up here, 1, 2, 3, 4 tens, let's count, 10, 20, 30, 40, awesome, and now 6. And remember, we've been doing our stamps to help us with those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Now, I'm wanting, the problem has me subtracting 8. Let's count over here. How many ones did I have again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have enough ones. So I'm going to cross out one of these 10s and break it apart into 10 more ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Now I have plenty to use to subtract 8. So I'm going to take away 8 of these now. So I'm going to start over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I need to count up how many I have. So I'm going to start with my ones, and let's count how many ones I have left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 ones left over, and now let's count how many 10s. 1, 2, 3. Exactly. Now we could get to this answer too by starting at this smaller number and adding up. So let's try that over here. We'll give you some extra practice. We'll give that one a shot. So over here we're going to start with 8. And remember, we want to get to the next friendly number, which is going to be 10. So we're going to add 2 equals 10. Now I'm going all the way up to the 40s. So that's what I'm going to have 10 plus blank equals 40. Now I'm going to count. I'm going to go 10, 20, 30, 30. So 3 sets of 10, which is going to be 30. And now I have 40 plus blank equals 46. And that's easy because that's just going to be 6. Now I need to add all of these numbers right here that I used to help me add up from this 8 to this 46. So I'm going to have 2 plus, oof, sorry, that 3 looks wonky, plus 6. So the ones, I have 2 plus 0 plus 6, which is going to equal 2, just 2 plus 6, which is 8. And then in my 10s, I only have that 3. So the answer is 38. That's the same answer that we got over here. All right, now we'll go through it one more time by doing the subtraction to make 10. So with that one, we'll do that right here. We'll start with our 46, and we're going to subtract 6 to bring us down to our 40. Now I'm only taking away 6 from that, and the number right here is 8, so I only have 2 more to subtract. So now I'm going to do 40 minus just 2, and that's going to equal 38. We could count backwards or use a number line. I know that if we go from 40 and we count backwards, it'll be 39, and then 38. And we're only taking away 2. So then I know that 46 minus 8 equals 38. So see how we can use those 3 different strategies and still get the same answer. So you need to pick when you're solving problems, maybe which one makes the most sense to you. All right, let's keep going so we can get some more practice in. All right, so right here, we're gonna just go over some more problems that have us subtracting by adding up. All right, so let's read our problem right here first so we know what numbers we're working with. There are 54 children at camp. Of those, 27 are girls. How many boys are at camp? So we know our whole, we know our total, which is 54. I'm just going to go ahead and draw that number bond. And we know 27 and are trying to figure out the other number. All right, so let's look down here because it has us model it first. Let's walk through it. So we have 54 minus 27 is the same as 27 plus blank equals 54. And you're trying to figure out what you add to 27 to get up to 54. That's how we add up to subtract. We start with a smaller number, what we're subtracting by, and add up. So it has us doing 27, and this one has us jumping all the way, adding the tens first. So it has us jumping from 27 to 47 by adding 20. See that right here? And see that big jump right here. And then it has us now 47 to make a friendly number. We're just going to add 3 to get us up to 50. And then we're not at our whole number yet because we need to add up 4 to get up to 54. So this has us jumping the tens first and then adding up in smaller amounts. And like we said before, we add all of those numbers together. And if we have 20 plus 3 plus 4, you know that those two are going to be 7. So my answer is going to be 27. Now let's look over here because it's doing the exact same thing, but it made a friendly number first, then jumped up by tens, and then went up by 4 like we did in our previous problems. So it started with 27. It added 3 to make our friendly number, because friendly numbers end in a 0, to get us up to 30. And then we added our 20 to get all the way up to 50. And then we had only 4 more to add to get to 54. And it showed it over here. And we add all of those numbers up together. I can still show my 3 plus 4 equals 7. And our number is 27. So let's look over here so we can help understand it. So if we're looking at the first model, so this one's model 1, and this is the second one. So we're looking at just the first one for these questions. What number do you start with? We started with 27. I did the same thing right there. And what number do you stop at? 54. 54. I start at one of my parts and I stop at my whole. I start and stop at the same numbers in our second model too. So now it's asking us why in the second model did we add 3 first? And we know to make a friendly number. I'm going to type that one in because that's a lot of words. To make a friendly number. There we go. So what is our answer to 54 minus 27? It's 27. That's kind of funky because it's the same number that you're subtracting by. But that is our answer. And we got it by adding up 2 different ways and got the same answer. So how are the models on this page alike and different? Now they're the same because you get the same answer. And they're different because in this one, you added up by tens first, and in this one, you found your friendly number by going to the next tens first. Exactly. All right. Now we're going to practice some, or go through some more problems that look at regrouping for subtracting. So subtracting by regrouping, and that's using our picture of our unit model. So let's read our problem up here first so we know what our numbers are. Ming had 42 toy animals. She gave 15 toy animals to her friends. How many toy animals does Ming have left? All right, so let's look at our model over here. But before we get started, we've been doing our number bond, so I want to keep that consistent. So we're going to have our 42 and then break it apart because that's our whole number. That's the total amount of toy animals. She gave away 15, and we're trying to figure out that other amount. Okay, so when we first looked at it, we drew it up. We're going to draw the whole number because you're drawing the big number, and then you're taking away part of it and finding out what's left. So we're going to draw the big number. So we're going to have 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42. All right, so we have 42. Now the first step, it says, because we only have 2 ones, but we're having to subtract 5 ones from it. And we can't do that. So we're going to take one of these tens and make it into 10 ones. And that's what happens right here. So that 10 got broken apart into 10 ones, giving us 3 tens and 12 ones. Let's count up all those ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 ones. And then we're going to subtract. So we're subtracting 5 ones from our 12 ones. So crossed it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can't forget our 1 10 and cross that out, leaving us with 1, 2, 2 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. All right, now down here in the second showing, it has us taking away one of the tens first. So it has us going from 42, taking away a 10, bringing it down to 32, and then breaking apart one of the tens, making it into 10 ones, and taking away the 5 ones, leaving us with 27. All right, so let's look over here at these questions. It says, look at the first model it on the previous page. So this one over here, this is number 1. Why did you make 10 ones with 1, 10, and 47? And we did that exactly because we needed more ones to subtract with. A good answer, because we're taking away 15, which has 5 ones in it, and in our drawing we only had 2 ones, and I can't take 5 is bigger than 2, so I can't take 5 away from 2. And how many tens are left after you subtract in step 2? We were left with, right here, 1, 2, 2 tens and 7 ones, just like we'd written right here. All right, now these next questions have to go with the second model. So how many tens and ones are left after you subtract 1 10? So that's just this first step where we subtracted only 1 10. We were left with 3 tens. See, 1, 2, 3 over here, also 1, 2, 3. And still our 2 2s because we hadn't touched our ones, or 2 1s because we hadn't touched our ones yet. Now, how many tens and ones are you left with after you subtract your 5 ones? We're left with 1, 2, 2 tens, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones. So after Ming gave away 15 toy animals to her friends, she was still left with 27. So down here, number 12, it says, how is step 1 in the first model it different from step 1 in the second model it? Does it matter what you do first? So the first step in this one up here is we made our 110 turn into 10 ones. And then our first step down here was we took away a 10 first. And if you notice, we got the same answer for both problems. So it doesn't matter which step you do first. You just have to make sure that you end up doing all of these steps. All right, friends, so we've got the part of the lesson now where we're gonna read a problem, and then I want you to pause the video, solve the problem on your own, and then unpause it to see if you got the same answer that I got. So let's start over here. We're gonna jump down and read problem 14 first. So let's read it. At the farm, there are 92 fruit trees. Of those, 69 are apple trees. The rest are pear trees. How many pear trees are there? Find 92 minus 69. So I'm going to start by drawing our number line. 92, we know that one part is 69, and then we're trying to find the other part. So the little moose right here says, if you add up, what number do you start with? And I'll get you started there. If you want to use the strategy adding up, you're going to start with the number that you're subtracting. So 69 right here. All right, so that's all I'm going to tell you. Now pause it, solve it, and then unpause it. All right, now if you're watching right now, that means you've gotten some piece of paper out and a pencil and you've already tried to solve this problem and you're coming just back to see what your answer is. All right, so we're gonna add up because that's what our little moose suggested, and we'll practice all the strategies in these. And so we're gonna start with 69 because that's the first number you start with. You start with the part, and I'm gonna add up just by 1 to get to, that's right, our friendly number, 70. Now I need to go all the way up to the numbers in the 90s. So I'm gonna do 70 plus 20 to get all the way up to 90. And then I'm going to do 90 plus 2 to get to 92. So now I need to add the 1 plus 20 plus 2, which is going to equal, got our 1's up first, 2 plus 0 is 2 plus 1 more is 3. And add our 10's, which is just the 2. So I know my answer. I'm going to write it in a different color so we know it's the answer. We have 92 minus 69 equals 23. All right, so let's come up here to problem 15. And let's read it together. There are 71 students on 2 buses. One bus has 38 students. How many are on the other bus? Find 71 minus 38. And then our little shark over here says, what number can you subtract if you subtract 10's first? All right, so pause your video, get to work, and then unpause when you're ready to solve your answer. So if you're unpaused right now and you're watching, that means you've already tried to solve this problem and are just checking your work. I hope that's true. Okay, so we're going to do 71 minus 38. So I'm going to solve this one by drawing it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1. Okay, now I don't have enough in the ones place, so I'm going to cross one of these out and give myself 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now I'm going to get to subtracting. So let's subtract our 8 ones first. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, leaving me with 1, 2, 3 ones. And now let's subtract our 10s. We have 3. So 1, 2, 3, leaving me with 3 10s. So our answer to 71 minus 38 equals 33. And if I wanted to draw my number bond, sorry, I didn't do that at first. You should have caught me and done it yourself. We're going to have 38 and 33. Okay, let's go down here and read question number 16. Pedro does 27 jumping jacks. Ray does 8 fewer jumping jacks than Pedro. How many jumping jacks does Ray do? Find 27 minus 8. And then our little dog right here has a leading question to help you. How many do you take away from 27 to make a 10? So, pause it, work on it, and unpause it when you have solved it. All right, so now that we're back, now if you're watching right now, that means you've paused and you've already solved this problem. If you haven't solved it yet, then put me on pause. All right, so now we're gonna we're gonna solve this problem. So 27 minus 8. So I'm gonna do 27, and if I'm subtracting down to the next 10, I need to take away 7, which is gonna get me down to 20. And then I have 20, and I've taken away 7, and I was taking away 8, and it's only 1 more to take away. So 20 minus 1, and 1 less than 20, I know, is 19. So that's my answer right here. Okay, so now we're at the point where it's independent practice for you. So these problems are up on the Google Classroom for you to get out a sheet of paper and solve along with them, and then text me a picture of your work. I will read through them right now just to help you out, and you can pause it and solve it, or go back and look at the worksheet on the inside the Google Classroom. So problem number 1 says, how can you find 35 minus 17? Circle all the correct answers, which means there might be more than one correct answer. All right, number 2, it says Jamie drew this model to solve a problem. Which problem did she solve? Circle the correct answer. So you're trying to figure out which of these equations matches her number line. Problem number 3, Don had 22 shells. He gave 9 to his brother. How many shells does Don have now? Find 22 minus 5 and circle the correct answer. Problem number 4, circle yes or no to tell if you can use the method to find 56 minus 17. So go through and see if you can use these different methods to solve the problem. Number 5, Greg subtracted 73 minus 44. He forgot the last step. So write the last step to answer his problem. And then number 6, show a different way to subtract 73 minus 44. So different than what Greg did in number 5 to subtract that problem. All right, now I can't wait to see your work, and remember to text me if you have any questions. Bye guys.